I'm not gonna lie, this video will probably be weird, but in the best possible way. We're gonna dive into some strange connections like the concept of getting plastered, the mother flame, and Jesus Christ. No, literally, Jesus Christ somehow fits into this. It's all a bit of a mess, but the crazy part is how these seemingly unrelated things make so much sense together within the story. So, here's the thing. What if the One Piece is Joy Boy's blood? Let's take a moment to explore just how much blood matters in One Piece. It's a theme that pops up again and again, and it's woven into some of the story's most emotional moments. And understanding this theme could give us clues about Joy Boy's legacy, and maybe even what the One Piece itself could be. So, think back to Alabasta. Luffy's up against Crocodile, who's basically untouchable because of his Logia powers, but Luffy finds a way around it. He uses his own blood to land a punch. It's a small detail, but it says a lot about Luffy. It's about how far he's willing to go for his friends, even if that means putting himself on the line. Now, let's talk about Gear's second. It's one of Luffy's flashier moves, sure, but there's something deeper here. Luffy pumps his blood faster through his body, boosting his speed and strength. It's another way blood becomes a symbol. It is his drive. It is his will to push beyond his limits. And who could forget Jinbei's blood transfusion during the Fishman Island arc? It wasn't just a life-saving gesture, it was a statement. Humans and fishmen, historically divided, come together in this moment. Jinbei's blood wasn't just about saving Luffy, it was about breaking down barriers. And then there is Ace. His sacrifice hit hard. When he shields Luffy from that fatal blow to become Dunkin' Donuts' best-selling product.
Out of pocket for that shit. Way out of pocket.
The blood he sheds becomes a symbol of what freedom could cost, and the deeper kind of love and hope for a better world by saving the MC. And so through all these moments, we see that blood in One Piece represents more than just life. It's the thread that runs through Luffy's journey, connecting it to those who came before him. So, why does this matter? Because maybe, just maybe, it hints at what Joy Boy's blood could mean for the One Piece. Think about it. If Joy Boy's blood has survived, it wouldn't just be a relic of history, it would be legacy. Something that represents all the sacrifices, all the bonds. It's something that was shed with the purpose of connecting people across generations. And just as blood is crucial in One Piece, there is another element we should consider: rum. What if the connection between blood and rum holds the key to unlocking the real nature of the One Piece? The classic pirate staple, rum. What is a pirate tale without it? Here's the thing. One Piece, despite being one of the most iconic pirate stories in the world, barely mentions rum at all.
Huh?
If we're being honest, it kind of feels like a missed opportunity. And sure, in chapter 1125, there's a small nod, a bridge named after rum, but honestly, that's about it as far as I can remember. Now, in traditional lore, rum is more than just a drink. It is the essence of pirate life. It represents celebration, camaraderie, and that wild, rebellious spirit. You basically have a bunch of pirates just lounging around after a big score, especially after sailing through rough seas and long days. It's about capturing that untamed drive for freedom, much like kicking back after a long grinding day at the office. In my case, a long grinding day in the comfort of my own home, in which I'm suffocated by four surrounding walls, 24/7, staring at the computer, 8 to 9 hours a day, without a hint of touching grass. Excuse me while I go touch some grass.
Hey yo, what the
In One Piece though, it's sake that takes the center stage when it comes to these traditions. You see it during those emotional moments, the crew welcoming a new Nakama, honoring about 1% of One Piece's characters who die and actually stay dead, or when Luffy and Ace and Sabo cement their brotherhood. Oh wait, Sabo was supposed to be dead. He's alive. And in Japan, sake is actually a catch-all term for alcohol, including rum. So whether you're talking about sake, rum, or even the stuff that turned Rock Lee into a legend before Shippuden did him dirty, it's all about finding joy, building bonds, and pushing through the darkest nights until the sun rises again. But what if Oda took that symbolism even further? What if the One Piece, the treasure that everyone's been searching for, was actually tied to this tradition of drinks, representing not just friendship and freedom, but something deeper and more historic? And this idea isn't completely out of left field. Some fans might recognize it from the popular theory that the One Piece could be a bottle of sake, specifically from Artor from the Library of Ohara, suggesting that the treasure could be a way to bring people together. But let's twist that idea a bit. What if it's not just sake, but rum made from Joy Boy's blood? I know, it sounds a little gross, but here's something to consider. An old bit of folklore that ties in nicely. The story of Nelson's blood. Here's how the story goes. Admiral Nelson, one of the greatest naval commanders in history, died at the Battle of Trafalgar. Shout out to Law. And they preserved his body in a barrel of rum. But the sailors, desperate for a drink, drilled into the barrel, accidentally mixing Nelson's blood with the rum. So when they drank it, well, they got a little more than just rum and accidentally became vampires. Blood. Now, if the idea of drinking blood makes you a little queasy, which is quite understandable, there's another angle to consider. Another One Piece YouTuber who goes by Kusaland Theories made this incredibly fleshed out theory that the One Piece story is an allegory to Christmas. In the video, he suggests that Joy Boy's real name could actually be Ramu. Ramu being rum when pronounced in Japanese. And if Oda really did name Joy Boy after rum, it would be a clever way to bring the drink into the story with an added layer of meaning. So instead of yo-ho-ho and a bottle of rum, it could be yo-ho-ho and a bottle of Ramu. Literally, Joy Boy's essence and a bottle. And so imagine if Joy Boy's blood was used to create this legendary rum, stored in a bottle or a barrel like a drum. But here's when it gets more interesting. What if this rum made from Joy Boy's blood wasn't just a symbol? What if it actually had the power to bring about real, tangible change? Imagine if Joy Boy's blood is the secret ingredient that could ignite a new era of freedom and unity, transforming the world in the process. And this idea might remind you of another story. A story about a figure who sacrificed everything for the sake of others, bringing hope and a new beginning. That's right, it echoes the story of Jesus Christ. When we think about the rich symbolism of One Piece, it's clear that Oda draws from all sorts of influences, mythology, folklore, and even religious imagery. And this variety of themes creates a story that's more than just an adventure. It's a layered narrative filled with deeper meanings. And among these influences, one comparison that stands out is the potential connection between Joy Boy and Jesus Christ. It might sound surprising at first, but when you look at the details, it becomes harder to dismiss as a mere coincidence. So let's start with Luffy's awakening of the sun god Nika Devil Fruit. It happens after 800 years, which might remind you of the concept of resurrection, a theme central to Christianity, like Jesus rising after 3 days. For centuries, Joy Boy's story was buried. I don't know, you guys decide in the comments. It was hidden in history, almost forgotten, but through Luffy, this lost will and power are awakened again, breathing life back into Joy Boy's legacy. It's as if Joy Boy's spirit is being resurrected through Luffy, giving his mission a second chance to impact the world. And this idea of revival, bringing hope and a new beginning, echoes the story of resurrection and salvation. Now let's talk about the biblical symbolism of blood. In Christianity, wine symbolizes Jesus' blood, representing sacrifice, salvation, and the connection between Christ and his followers. In One Piece, Joy Boy's blood could carry a similar weight. So just imagine that at the core of the One Piece treasure may be in the form of rum. If that's the case, then Joy Boy's blood, like the communion wine, represents a shared will, a sense of unity that spans generations, and a fight for freedom that echoes through time. And then there's the symbol of the lamb, which stands for innocence, sacrifice, and purity in Christianity, including Jesus Christ himself. Joy Boy and Luffy embody these qualities in their actions and beliefs to a T. Luffy's transformation into the sun god Nika even has a predominantly white design, emphasizing themes of purity and hope, much like the symbolic lamb. And it's also worth noting that Kusaland's theory that if Joy Boy's name might be Ramu hints at the word ram, which you can easily spot in the name Ramu, tying it into the image of a lamb, which is essentially the younger counterpart of adult rams. And so if Joy Boy's blood was shed as a sacrifice, it's easy to see the parallel to the blood of the lamb, representing a pure offering for the greater good. There's more to this Christianity allegory when we take a look at Bartholomew Kuma, one of the most now beloved characters in the series. His connection of religious symbolism is hard to miss. He carries a Bible, and in his past, he even served as a preacher of the sun god Nika in his family's church. Kuma's faith and his sense of purpose give him that air of a man following a divine mission. And so throughout One Piece, Crosses and other Christian imagery subtly weave through the story, adding more layers to the spiritual themes. And even the name Nika holds deeper meaning. While it's known in Japanese as the onomatopoeia for a grin or a smile, it also connects to the Jesus Christ conqueror symbol, often represented with the letters Nika. And this ties directly into the themes of liberation and breaking free from oppression, core ideas that define both Joy Boy's and Luffy's journeys. It suggests that Luffy, as Joy Boy's successor, might be destined to lead a new era of freedom, much like a savior who brings hope and renewal. By piecing all of this together, we start to see how Joy Boy takes on the role of a Christ-like figure, someone who made a great sacrifice for the dream of unity and freedom, leaving behind a legacy that could only be fulfilled by a worthy successor. Luffy, with his unyielding spirit and commitment to freeing others, steps into that role, carrying Joy Boy's purpose forward into the present day. And these parallels between Joy Boy, Jesus, and Luffy highlight just how deep and complex Oda's storytelling is, adding layers of meaning to the world of One Piece. And speaking of spiritual themes, the story's exploration of the nature of souls might even hold more clues about Joy Boy's legacy and what it means for Luffy's journey. Before we dive into what Joy Boy's blood can mean as the One Piece treasure, we need to first understand the concept of souls in One Piece. And I think it's crucial because it makes up a big part of why Joy Boy's blood might play such a significant role in the story. Souls are generally not visible and are often represented in a tangible form, most of the time through Devil Fruit abilities in One Piece. However, Oda seems to draw inspiration from Japanese folklore, particularly the concept of Hitodama, where souls are believed to manifest as glowing fireballs. And throughout the series, there have been hints to this idea. Souls often appear as flames or energy, suggesting that there's more beneath the surface. For example, souls leave bodies in wispy, smoky forms, or will-o-wisps, as we saw with Lao Ji, resembling little fireballs drifting away. And this imagery pays homage to traditional beliefs, and the series further emphasizes it through specific characters and their abilities. Take Brook, for example. His Devil Fruit, the Yomi Yomi no Mi, lets him return from the dead and even separate his soul from his body. His soul appears as a glowing entity just like those Hitodama, and it brings with it the chill of the underworld, a literal coldness that highlights the power of spiritual energy. And so it's the perfect example of how souls hold real tangible power in the One Piece world. And then there is Sanji and his Diabolic Jambin. Whether his flames come from his altered lineage factor or not, which, let's be real, it's pretty much a given, it's clear that his ability to produce fire is tied to his emotions and spirit. His willpower and passion ignite those flames, making them an extension of his soul. It shows how deeply One Piece ties emotion and spirit to the manifestation of energy. And we also see this with Luffy's Red Hawk attack. His arm bursts into flames, possibly due to the changes in his lineage factor and by extension, his blood, after eating the Gum Gum fruit or the human fruit model Sun God Nika. It's as if Luffy's blood, will, and spirit come together as this flammable element, combined with the soul to create literal fire, a reflection of his inner drive. And when we think about the Lunarians, a race known for their flames, it's easy to imagine that their fire might also be a physical manifestation of their souls. Now let's bring in the idea of Kokoro, a concept in Japanese culture that represents the heart, mind, and spirit, the core essence of a person. In One Piece, the heart and soul are closely tied, with each contributing to a character's determination and willpower. Even the character, Kokoro, who conducts the sea trains, Puffing Tom and Rocket Man, represent this. Her role as a conductor is symbolic, like how Kokoro drives someone's spirit and heart forward. And steam-driven Rocket Man parallels Luffy's Gear Second, which also produces steam, representing the heart's power to push someone forward with an unstoppable will. Now, let's talk about the Mother Flame, a Vegapunk creation meant to replicate the eternal flame. But what if the core of this energy source is actually Kuma's soul? Kuma, as a member of the Buccaneer race, has some unique traits that Vegapunk hinted at. So perhaps the unique trait, their special ability, is that they could come back to life after temporary death as long as their soul endures. We've seen this concept hinted at with Law's Obi no Mi ability, Mess, which lets him remove someone's heart without killing them. And I believe that if the literal heart itself contains a person's soul, and if Kuma's soul still exists within the Mother Flame at its core, then it's possible for him to regain a part of his humanity from a distance. It's as if the soul acts as an anchor or a bridge between a person and their spirit, or whatever metaphysical term you prefer to use. This idea paints Kuma's essence, or souls in general, as something that transcends the physical body, making it a perfect source for an undying flame. But how can the soul be considered the ideal source for an undying flame, similar to how in theory it should go under nuclear fusion? We'll explore this concept further in the next segment, but for now, please bear with me as I build up to this idea so you guys can understand my perspective completely. Aside from that, the name Mother Flame might even hold a deeper meaning. Mother could symbolize a protective, nurturing force, like a mama bear, which fits well with Kuma's bear theme and his role as Bonnie's parent. And the Ma in his name might emphasize his motherly nature, especially the sacrifices he made for his daughter. And so this nurturing, self-sacrificing spirit ties back to the core idea of souls in One Piece, where the heart, the spirit, and the desire to protect others are tightly connected. All of this, the links between the souls, fire, and willpower, it helps us see how the heart and spirit drive not just individuals, but the mysteries of the One Piece world. It's this connection that could explain why Joy Boy's blood is so important to the One Piece treasure, that it might be the key to creating the Undying Flame, a limitless source of energy that Vegapunk has been trying to replicate for so long that he'd be able to change the world for the better. Now that we've laid all the groundwork, it is time to pull everything together and explain why Joy Boy's blood, as the One Piece treasure, could be the missing key to creating the Undying Flame. So let's talk about fuel. It's a concept that actually pops up throughout One Piece. Think about it. The steam that powers the sea trains like Puffing Tom and Rocket Man, Enel's electricity powering the Arc Maxim in the City on the Moon, or even the wind that keeps the windmills going in Fuchsia Village spinning. Fuel is always there, driving things forward. But it's not just about physical energy. Oda often uses fuel as a metaphor for what motivates characters to keep going. And on a side note, let's take Frankie for example. He literally runs on cola to power his body and inventions. And let's not overlook the possibility that Oda might have chosen cola as a playful pun on alcohol. Cola. Alcohol. It's perfect. This brings us back to Luffy and his connection to Rocket Man. In Gear 2nd, Luffy pumps his blood at high speeds, generating steam, similar to how Rocket Man runs on steam. For Rocket Man, steam is the fuel that pushes it forward. For Luffy, it's his willpower that fuels him, represented by the steam, pushing him beyond his limits. So whether it's steam, cola, or willpower, fuel in One Piece is about what drives people, powers them, and keeps the flame of hope alive. Now, let's shift gears and think about Joy Boy's blood. What if it's a unique kind of fuel? If the Undying Flame is a limitless energy source that Vegapunk has been trying to create, Joy Boy's blood might be the missing ingredient. Stay with me here, because we're heading into some speculative territory, but it's worth considering. To understand how Joy Boy's blood might complete the Undying Flame, we need to think about nuclear fusion. Vegapunk is essentially trying to create his own sun, and nuclear fusion is the process that powers our sun. It happens because of the intense pressure of the sun's gravitational field, creating a constant energy source. Now, what if Joy Boy's blood contains something similar to that pressure? We know that haki, especially Conqueror's haki, can be passed down through bloodlines. Remember how Luffy unconsciously used Conqueror's haki to stop Ace's execution momentarily? Characters like Garp, Vice Admiral Doberman, and Ivankov noted how natural it was for Luffy to have such power, given his familial connection to Dragon and Garp himself, now that we know that Garp also possesses Conqueror's haki. This suggests that Conqueror's haki can be tied to blood and be inherited. So if Joy Boy's blood is rich in Conqueror's haki, that haki could act as a kind of internal pressure, similar to the gravity that allows nuclear fusion to occur in the sun. Now imagine combining that haki-infused blood with the soul. Together, they could create the conditions necessary for a fusion-like process. The soul would act as the core, while the blood charged with haki becomes the catalyst. The result? An eternal flame, an undying source of energy, just like the sun. This would mean Joy Boy's blood is a powerful ingredient capable of sparking an eternal flame. These recurring themes of fuel and energy in One Piece tie everything together. Just as Rocket Man needed steam to keep moving, the world of One Piece might need Joy Boy's blood to ignite a flame that brings true freedom. The world's government fear of Joy Boy's blood and the Undying Flame may explain why the One Piece has remained hidden for so long, and this hidden treasure could challenge the very foundations of power in the world. A major theme throughout One Piece is the struggle over resources, and Oda has integrated this idea into numerous story arcs. So think back to the drought in Alabasta, where Crocodile used dance powder to take control over the rain to manipulate an entire kingdom, or the battle for the Upper Yard, or Verse, between the Skypians and Shandorans. These conflicts represent the desperation that arises when essential resources become scarce. Another example is in Wano, where Kaido and Orochi's rule created a stark divide. The flower capital thrives while the rest of the country suffers, starved of food and resources as factories poison the land. And this mirrors the broader world. The haves hold the power, while the have-nots struggle to survive. And this imbalance is what keeps the world government in control. By keeping resources scarce, they keep a hold over the masses. And the situation may parallel a potential conflict that occurred over 800 years ago, where the ancient kingdom and the 20 kings clashed over resource distribution. Perhaps Joy Boy had a long-term goal of utilizing the Undying Flame to share an abundance of energy across the world, aiming to create a society with shared prosperity. However, the 20 kings might have not supported this idea, as it threatened the system that they wanted to maintain. And so their fear of losing control likely led to the formation of the world government, as they realized that if people had access to unlimited energy, it would undermine the power dynamics that, in their view, sustain the world. It could be why they wiped out the ancient kingdom and buried its existence. They knew the flame wasn't just about energy, it was about breaking the chains of control. The idea of Joy Boy's blood, let alone his incredible haki, triggering the spark to create an Undying Flame, it would definitely scare the shit out of anybody like Imu. Now, let's talk about Blackbeard, because he's always been the type to wait for the perfect opportunity to swoop in and steal whatever he can. We've seen it do it before, stealing Whitebeard's double fruit and using it to gain power. If the One Piece turns out to be Joy Boy's blood, you can bet your ass Blackbeard sees it as the ultimate key to freedom. The freedom to dominate and take away other people's freedoms. There's even the possibility that Blackbeard might be a biological descendant of Joy Boy, which has been a running theory within the fandom. And if that's the case, he could claim the One Piece as his birthright. But unlike Luffy, who takes on Joy Boy's will through his actions and ideals, Blackbeard would want the One Piece for his own power because he feels like he's entitled to it. But where does this leave Luffy? If Joy Boy's original blood is out of reach, and somehow either Blackbeard or Imu gets their hands on it, Luffy's journey would have to lead him to forge the One Piece in his own way. Because technically, he possesses the blood of Joy Boy, or at least the kind of blood Joy Boy possesses after eating the Gum Gum fruit, and having it alter his lineage factor. And it makes even more sense knowing that Luffy could power Ancient Kingdom tech like Emmett, using his Gear 5th with his heartbeat, the drum's alliteration. And so I'm thinking it may come down to Luffy having to evolve and advance his level of haki to such a degree that would have to match or surpass even Joy Boy's haki in order to fulfill his dream. And if the Undying Flame can only be reignited with Luffy's blood, it would be a perfect culmination of everything he's fought for. The X scar on his chest he got from Akainu, that could be more than just a mark. It could literally just be Oda foreshadowing the act of Luffy creating his own version of the One Piece treasure, with his heart pumping the blood containing his haki, thereby becoming the source of the new Undying Flame. Holy shit. Topic 6. We've actually made it this far into a video, and yet I still have a bunch more to say. God, mega theories are fucking long to make. Now that we've come to an understanding of why Joy Boy's blood is the One Piece, and how it holds the key to reignite the Undying Flame, and thus the power to change the world, let's zoom in on something more subtle. Roger's decision to name the final island Laughtail. I won't focus too much on Roger's laughter or the larger implications for the ancient weapons and the timing and everything. Instead, I want to explore the potential double meaning behind the name Laughtail, and how it could be interpreted as something else which may offer a unique tie-in to the nature of Joy Boy's blood. Oda is known for layering his story with wordplay, and I think Laughtail has a hidden meaning. If you look at it through a different lens, Laughtail can also be read as laughter ale. Imagine Joy Boy's blood as something to be shared, like a symbolic drink passed around to bring people together. Joy Boy didn't leave behind a treasure meant for one person. His blood, which holds the key to the Undying Flame, was intended to unite people and join freedom. Oda must have recognized this while developing the series, that the name Laugh-Tale reflects both the literal laughter that Roger felt from reading the true story of the world from the gathered poneglyphs necessary to create the real poneglyph, but also the deeper symbolism of Joy Boy's blood as something to be shared like a drink. And if you subscribe to the idea of Joy Boy's name being Rum or Ramu in Japanese, it becomes even more fitting. So while we could explore the technical aspects of the treasure, the Undying Flame, or the ancient weapons, I believe the core message of this theory remains simple. Joy Boy's blood is about the act of sharing. The name Laugh-Tale perfectly captures this, especially when considered as Laughter Ale, showing that Joy Boy's treasure was always meant to bring people together and not divide them. And that about wraps up this mega theory, and if you stuck through to the end, thank you so much. Comment below, comment below bruh, because bruh, this was an exhausting process to undergo, but I'm glad I put this out in the world. I'm glad I finally put my 2 cents on what the One Piece is, and if 95% of this theory doesn't come true, I'm pretty sure that at least 5% of what I said in this video was in the realm of Oda's thoughts and dreams and prayers. That's all we can ask for when it comes to theory crafting. So with that being said, I'm going to take a 24-hour nap, maybe longer, and start working on some new videos afterwards. This has been your disembodied floating DJ, Willie D. I am signing off. Have a beautiful day, people.